Hello, welcome to Tekla Social Designer course. Okay, this is module 2, part 2. In this module, we are going to be creating a grid lines. Okay, to start with, I'm going to be using this grid panel, okay, on my model tab. Okay, so now I'll click on this drop down list. There are various options for creating grid line in Tekla Structural Designer. Okay, but for now I'm going to be using this rectangular wizard, okay, to create my grid lines. Okay, so I'll click on rectangular wizard. Okay, so once you do that, the rectangular wizard dialog will be displayed. Okay, so now I want my grid lines to be created on all floors. Click on next. Okay, it's asking me to set origin. Okay, I'm satisfied with my origin being at 0, 0. I'll click on next. Okay, so I need all lines here. Okay, I want to generate all lines, so I'll click on next. So now this is the X direction. Okay, so this is the X direction. Now if my model, okay, my grid lines are regularly spaced, I can use this option. Just define the number of grid lines I need and the spacing. So in my own case, my grid lines are not spaced regularly, so I'll come to the irregular option. So in this part, I'm going to be typing in the spacings manually. Okay, to do that, I'll go to my AutoCAD file. Okay, I'll come to my AutoCAD file here. So my first spacing is 4.64 meters. Okay, my second spacing, okay, is 1.641 meters. So I'll return to my Tekla Structural Designer. Alright, so I'll come here, I'll type 4.64 meters, type comma, space 1.641 meters. Okay, remember we are entering our dimensions in meter. Okay, I'll press comma and then type the last dimension, okay, which is 4.989 meters. Okay, 4.989 meters. So I'm done with entering my dimensions in the X direction. I'll click on next. Okay, so in the second direction, that is my Y direction, okay, my spacings are also in regular, not regular. If they were regular, I would have just typed the number here and the spacing. So I'll come here and select the irregular option. I'll go back to my AutoCAD file. Okay, come to this direction. My first spacing is 2.04 meters. So I'll come here, I will type 2.04 meters, comma, space. Okay, my second spacing is 3.29 meters. So I'll come here and type 3.29 meters, comma. My next spacing is 3.45 meters. So I'll come here and type 3.45 meters, comma, space. My next spacing is 3.26 meters. So I'll come here and type 3.26 meters. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So now my grid lines have been defined in the Y direction. So I'll click on next. Okay, the software is asking me if I want to rotate the grid line. I'm not going to do that. I'll click on next. Okay, I'll click on finish. So you can see now that my grid lines have been created for me successfully. Okay, but one grid line is missing, okay, which is grid line 2A. Now, by inspection, I discovered that this grid line 2A, okay, the dimension should be, okay, let's say the dimension for grid line 2A should be, let's say, okay, let me measure it, okay, from here to here. Okay, I'll select it, change the dimension to, let's say, standard 354 mm. Okay, so from grid line C, dimension is, from grid line 3, dimension is 354 mm. So I'll come here, okay, and come to my model grids. Okay, I'll use this quick parallel option. Okay, I'll select this grid. Okay, move to my left. Okay, press the F2 button on my keyboard and write 0.054 and click on enter. Alright, and press escape a couple of times. So my grid lines were not labeled properly, so I'm going to be doing that now. So I'll select grid line A. Okay, I'll come to this properties span. Okay, expand it and type 1. I'll go to B, select B and type 2. I'll select this C and rename it 3. I'll select this D and rename it 4. I'll come to this direction. Okay, I will select this one, I'll call it A. I'll select 2 and call it B. I'll select 3 and call it C. I'll select 4 and call it D. I'll select 5 and call it E. Alright, then I'll select this one and call it 2A. Alright, so now my grid lines have been created for me. Okay, now I have a complete grid layout to begin my modeling. Okay, see you in part 3 when we will start modeling our columns. Thank you.